A lady said to me that I met once in New York. She was vice president of this company. She made big money. I don't think she finished her high school education. She was still young, with a young family. And I said to her, "How did you get here? This is a tough business. You make big money. You didn't graduate from high school. What happened?" And she said, "Well, let me tell you part of the story." She said, "Years ago, one day I asked my husband for $10, and he said, 'What for?' She said, by the end of that day, I had promised myself that I would never, ever ask for money again." And she said, "Yes, I am vice president. Yes, I do make big money. Yes, I am young. Yes, I did not graduate from high school." But she said, "I promise you, Mr. Rohn, from that day until this, I have never asked for money again." She said, "I started searching for opportunity, found it, started taking some classes, learned the skills, totally changed my life." I'm sure she would say that was one of the days that turned her life around.
There is a day, seemingly like any other, when everything changes. It's the day when you make the decisions once and for all to walk a new road toward the goals that until that fateful day have only been misty dreams. It's the day you say, "I've had it," with living a life of poor health, an empty bank account, and broken promises, where you're suddenly filled with the resolve to do whatever it takes to finally live the life you have always known you are capable of living. It's the day when you're filled with the awareness that time is precious and that each day that passes by unnoticed is like releasing a helium balloon into the sky. Soon it will be a distant memory, never to be seen again. It's the day you decide to seize those precious moments and make every one of them count. It's the day that turns your life around. Get ready for an unparalleled, life-changing experience in this all-new Nightingale Conant program, The Day That Turns Your Life Around, from master motivator and business philosopher Jim Rohn. At the young age of 25, Jim met his mentor, Mr. Earl Schoaf, who introduced him to a unique business opportunity in the world of network marketing. Not only did Mr. Schoaf mentor Jim on the lessons of building a remarkable business, he mentored him on building a remarkable life. The rest was history. Jim used the lessons he learned to turn away from a life of mediocre performance, broken dreams, and an empty bank account to incredible levels of wealth, both tangible and intangible, by the age of 31. It is now his sincere desire in this all-new program to help you do the same.
Yesterday I quoted the saying, "There's nothing so powerful as an idea whose time has come." Then I quoted it another way, "There's nothing so powerful as an idea that comes at the right time." So I said a little prayer before I left my hotel room today, and my prayer was, I hope today is one of those right times for many in my audience. And you never know, when for someone it's the first time, or you're the first voice that sort of awakens a search for a better life, meaning, skills, disciplines, or you're one of many voices, or they've heard many before and now yours sort of comes on a day when the lights go on and they're never the same again.
In this program, you will hear Jim Rohn sharing ideas in a way you have never heard before. We had the unique experience of having a one-on-one conversation with Jim in the studio, reflecting on his business and life experiences. We have also included several live segments, mixing some of his classic recordings with some of his newest material. Presented with Jim's second-to-none inspirational style, the result is a program you'll never forget. Truly, the listening experience that follows could mark the day that turns your life around. Now, Jim begins the program by discussing the simple yet dramatic events of his own life-changing day.
Sometimes from a delightful experience or a tragic experience, it can be the day that changes everything. For me, it was the Girl Scout that knocked on my door when I was 25 years old and gave me the big presentation about Girl Scout cookies. And I wanted to buy. She said, it's only $2, several flavors. And with a big smile, she politely asked me to buy. And I wanted to. Big problem, I didn't have $2 in my pocket. So I didn't want to tell her that, right? I'm a grown man. I'm 25 years old. I've been to 1 year of college. I've got a little family going. So I decided next best to lie to her. I said, look, I've already got lots of Girl Scout cookies. I bought some, and we still haven't eaten all of them. They're in the house. She said, oh, that's wonderful. Thank you very much. And she leaves. When she leaves, I say to myself, I don't want to live like this anymore. I mean, how low can you get, right? Lying to a Girl Scout, that's about as low as it gets. So I promised myself that day it would never happen again. And that was a life-changing day for me, recognizing that I was not in a good position. I must start making my search. A guy climbs the stairs, and there's about 40 stairs to climb, and he finally gets to the top, sits down, and he's out of breath. And he says, wow, this is not good. I've got to do something about my health. So it can be something that simple. So he starts a little research program and decides to get his health in order, develop a good nutritional program, whatever. And from that day on, he says, I'm not going to be out of breath anymore. One of my friends woke up one day, David, and he said, sitting at the yacht club, having a drink, sitting sort of in a fog, something spoke to him and said, what could you really have done if you hadn't have been in this condition the last 15, 20 years of your life? You know, he wasn't like an out-and-out alcoholic, but he just, he drank too much. And he started thinking about that. What could I have really accomplished? He wasn't bad enough to where he couldn't function. But he said that day when he thought back of what he really could have done if he hadn't have sort of stumbled around in a bit of a fog all those years, how his life would be. And he said from that day on he never touched another drink of alcohol. Then he died about 5 years after that. But his wife said to me that last 5 years were the greatest years of our marriage, when that one day he woke up and said, wow, this is not good. What could I have done if I hadn't have been sort of semi-conscious these last 15, 20 years? And that was a very special day for him. Sometimes it's a cataclysmic event. Sometimes it's that moment. Who can really explain it? Only the person it happens to, I guess, can really explain what that inner voice was that says, I'm on the wrong track here. I wonder what I could really do if I kicked this habit or got rid of this obsession. So those are the days that turn your life around.